in as we talk Married at First Sight, season 17. Season 17, and what we on? We are on episode 7. Married at First Sight, season 17, episode 7. It ain't Lucky 7. It definitely ain't Lucky 7. This is a bad, unlucky 7 called A Honeymoon Rockier Than the Colorado's Mountains. Whoa, we said this season was boring. We was talking about we was falling asleep. We ain't asleep no more. We are awake. We are fully awake. At least I am. I'm going to tell y'all, I could not wait to get here and talk to y'all. I didn't even watch this episode till late. I got home late last night. I didn't even start watching the episode till like 9:30 at night, which for me, y'all, that's late because I'd be darn near asleep by 9:30. So I was up late, and I tell you, if I could have called all y'all when I finally finished the episode at whatever, midnight, because it did take me a while to watch it, I would have rang up each and every one of you and kept you guys up all night talking about this doggone show. So this video right here, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not going to get through all the couples because I know I'm going to have to spend way too much time talking about Orion and Lauren. Way too much time. So y'all going to have to come back tomorrow for part 2 because I got to go to work today. So y'all going to have to come back tomorrow for part 2, and we're going to talk about the other couples. But in this one video right here, we're going to just talk about Orion and Lauren. And I already know I'm going to make some of you mad. Because you're going to want me to be on Orion the whole time, and I'm not. I'm going to be on both of them because honestly, I can't stand both of them. But I know there's going to be a whole lot of people up in here trying to protect Lauren only. Lauren. But let me tell you something. Both of these people are a problem. I'm going to say it again. Both of them are a problem. They actually both do the same exact thing to each other. Now, all of a sudden, we got Orion playing the race card, okay? And last time we had Lauren playing the race card. This week, we got Orion playing the race card, the big joker card. Any of you guys spades players? Any of you guys play spades out there? And what happens when you get the big joker in your hand? You're like, ooh, I got this big joker. I got this big joker in my hand, and the big joker is the race card. The big joker is the race card, and you shouldn't always play it. Do you ever have that partner that play that big joker too fast? Like, why you play the big joker so fast on that? That's not the time to play the big joker. And guess what happened this episode? Orion, he threw down that big old joker, which is the race card. And he knew that once he threw that race card out, that was going to try to get him out a whole lot of mess. You know how this all started, y'all. This all started when y'all was fighting with me last week. Where's my Vaseline? I might need to put some Vaseline on my face because I know I'm going to be in a fight today. I know I'm going to be in a fight down in these comments. I'm going to tell you right now that Orion played that race card because he was getting out of the mess he got in when he so-called slut-shamed Lauren. He never liked it. I told y'all what happens when you suppress a person's real opinion. What ends up happening is you get a whole nother argument. You think you arguing over here about this doggone race card and this racial slur, but really what you're still arguing about is the fact that he didn't like Lauren's sexual promiscuity, period. But once she threw out the slut shaming card, he had to come back with the big joker, the race card. You see, the slut shaming was the little joker. That was the one he was playing, the little joker. That's the one that Lauren played. She played the little joker. But what Orion played, which was the race card, was the big joker. And that's what he had to play to overcome the mess he got in when Lauren said she was slut shamed and she felt unsafe. They are an HR nightmare. These two are an HR nightmare. And I'm telling you right now, they've been doing this a long time. This is not the first time that Lauren has acted like this, and this is not the first time that Orion has acted like this. It's not, y'all. They're professionals at it. They're professionals at playing the victim. Both of them. Both of them are professionals at playing the victim, and they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They're both verbally and emotionally abusive to each other. And I believe they probably have been verbally and abusive to other people, because the way that Lauren was talking to Orion, I don't care. She's done it before plenty of times. She got plenty of practice because she was too good at it. Okay. The way that Orion was deflecting and playing that race card, he's done it plenty of times. He's too good at it. This ain't the first rodeo he's been here either. They do it all the time. Like I said, I felt like I was in an HR office and I had one employee over here talking about sexual harassment, right? Claims of sexual harassment, sexual impropriety. And then I got another one over here talking about racial slurs. But yet these two people are supposed to be husband and wife. Please get out of here. They're professionals. Emotionally and verbally abusive. This is like a psychological warfare. That's exactly what's going on here. Let me tell you, they hit all the buzzwords. I feel unsafe. This is not a safe space. I feel a trigger. Let me tell you, they hit all the buzzword for microaggressions, all this stuff out here in the world people do when you want to get them off of you and you want to turn it back onto them, okay? You use certain words, certain phrases, you hit certain buttons, and you know what that does? That backs people up off of you so you don't have to take no accountability. And right now, here today, Orion played that race card. He played that big joker because what he was trying to get out from under was the fact that everyone, even out here, lots of people said he slut shamed Lauren. And let me tell you something. Like I said the last time, you're not going to change the way he thinks. But you are going to change whether he says it or not. But in the end, he feels the same way. And that's what happened. He still felt the same way about what happened. He didn't change. But what he didn't want out here was he didn't want you guys trying to call him what he was doing. So he had to play his big joker. Because let me tell you something. This whole thing over being so offended with the whole race card, remember, he got over that. He got over it enough for them to have that conversation about him going down on her and licking her in all the right places. He was fine with that conversation. He was looking forward to it. He said he's a giver. He was all good. But when she went down that road of when she had sex, and then we come to find out that she was engaged. So there's a lot more than a cut out. There's a lot more to that conversation that she had with Orion that he didn't like. And let me tell you, I'm going to stand 10 toes down. Y'all not going to punk me like Lauren punked Orion and told Orion he can't speak his truth and talk about stand 10 toes down. If y'all want to call Orion a B or a female because he's acting the way he is, then we're going to need to call Lauren a man because she was straight up punking that man. But y'all ain't going to punk me. I'm going to stand 10 toes down and I'm going to say that Orion should have been able to speak his truth, and maybe we could have kept talking about the real truth, but now we over here playing the race card. Just like Lauren played the race card when she was in that hot water for saying what she said to him, and she tried to play the race card on him when he got on her the first time. She played the race card to get out of it. So guess what? Here come Orion next. He playing the race card to get out of the slut shaming scene. He don't like her. When she said that from the very beginning about her, whatever her sexual thing she did, he was turned off. Just like he said, personally, I'm turned off board. I don't like it. He was turned off by it. But he couldn't stand on his truth because you know what? She was browbeating him over it. She was throwing out these words talking about feeling unsafe. So he had to retreat. And then once he had to retreat, now he's in a position where she's bombarding him and she's attacking him. And so the only way he can get out from under her and not be attacked by her is guess what he does? Let me throw on my big joker. See, this ain't the beginning. In the beginning of these whole couples getting together, we all talked about it. We said, man, they're like in some type of who is the most oppressed. Who's the most oppressed? Is it the African American community that's the most oppressed? Is it the Native American, indigenous people that's most oppressed? Even Lauren said, well, I don't know. I think we more oppressed because we was brought here as slaves. You just had your land taken from you. I think I'm more oppressed. Now, this whole episode, all we talked about was who was the most offended. No, I'm the most offended because I was slut shamed about what I do sexually. No, I'm the most offended because you use a racial slur on me. So we done gone from the oppression Olympics to who is the most offended Olympics. Is that what we're doing? Like I told you, these people, the both of them, are in a race to find out who is the biggest victim. Both of them. I wouldn't be friends with neither one of them. I wouldn't be married to neither one of them. I know people running around right now talking about run from Orion, run from Lauren. Because let me tell you, that diatribe she went on, that was abusive too. They both want to throw rocks and hide their hands, and both want to act like they have justification for doing what they're doing. No, they don't. Neither one of them do. Let me tell you, Orion threw on this race card out to get out from all under this because he don't really want to be with her. This is just a wiggle out and come up with a reason to get out of this marriage, because let me tell you, he was all the way turned off after they had that conversation, and he found out more about not only the 2 months that she was engaged. And did you see how Lauren didn't even really want to answer the question? He said, well, weren't you married before? She goes, we mean right before I was selected? It's not a question, Lauren. Answer the question. We still don't know when Lauren was married. They cut it out. They cut it out because they don't want to have her show no guilt in it. When was she engaged? Because it sounds to me that part of the reason why Orion doesn't think Lauren was taking this situation seriously or marriage seriously, because it sounds as if she was engaged very recently. Very recent, not 2 years ago. It sounds like her engagement was too close to this marriage, just like the sex was too close to this marriage. And what he did was he says, I'm looking at a woman who was in a process to get married. Not only did she just have sex 2 months ago, but she was also recently engaged, way too soon for my comfort. And so I don't think she's taking this as seriously as I would want her to be. And that's why I'm turned off. They cut it off. Because even when he brought it up and said, well, weren't you engaged? You know what she did? She didn't even answer the question. She answered a question, which means she's guilty. She's guilty. And they're over here editing this scene. Because what they're trying to do, what they're really trying to do is trying to make everybody believe there was no basis to Orion feeling uncomfortable with Lauren's remarks about when she had sex. That's what they're trying to do to everybody. They're trying to create this scenario that there was no basis for it and he's completely out of line. I don't believe it. That's why I said this is what happens when you try to suppress a person's real point of view, when you don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't care if you don't agree with it. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if Lauren didn't want to be with it. But what she shouldn't have done was she should have sat there and learned about the true feelings that Orion had. Then she know what she was dealing with. But instead, what she did was she hopped all over him. She bullied him. And like I said, y'all ain't gonna bully me because I'm not backtracking on that. I'm not backtracking on my video from last week. I'm certainly not backtracking on it because I didn't find no problem with Orion telling Lauren, I'm turned off. In fact, I hope now y'all see that it was Lauren who prompted Orion and said, well, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? She asked him. She asked him her opinion. If somebody asks you your opinion and you already know your opinion is not going to be a good opinion, it's going to be a negative opinion, you only got two choices. You either could tell them the truth and hope they listen and understand, or you could shut your mouth and not say nothing at all, which is what Austin is over here doing. We're going to get to that tomorrow. Or you could lie. That's really the only two choices because Orion felt the way he felt. He felt the way he felt. So all he could do in that moment was either lie to her or not open his mouth and not tell nothing, because it was Lauren who asked him the question point blank to his face. How do you feel about it? Lauren liked to get up in people's face. She sure does. She acted like she was going to whoop that man's ass. She acted like she was about to whoop that man's ass. Like I said, we can call Orion a punk all day. I'm good with it. I'm good with calling him a backing down. I'm good with him double talking. I'm good with him lying to wiggle out of situations. I'm good with saying that he's over here lying about what the real reason is he don't want Lauren. I'm good with all that. But if we're going to do all that, we're going to have to talk about Lauren and how Lauren is hella masculine. She absolutely tried to punk this man. And let me tell you, if she was sitting in front of me, If she was sitting in front of me, I'm saying you're going to have to back that shit up. That's what I would be telling her. I mean, you got to remember how all this started. It started because of what he said to her, that sex was off the table. That's how it started. Okay? When she revealed that information, that was his next response. Sex is off the table. And from there, she got upset. And y'all just think, let me tell you something else. Y'all just think Lauren was only upset because she felt judged. Y'all wrong about that too. You wrong about that too. It was more than feeling judged. It was also about feeling rejected as well. It was also about feeling rejected. Now remember, Lauren already told us she has a problem with she wants to be accepted too much. She already told us that. That's her trigger point. That's her tender spot. And when Orion came in and said that to her, I mean, it hit her hard in her soft spot. It really did hit her hard. And then she came back both with crying and then being assertive. And I'm going to say it. I'm not afraid of no black woman out here talking about I can't call a woman too assertive in her conversation. She was. She was assertive in her conversation. I mean, I'm going to be real about it. She was. I'm telling you, if I was sitting across from Lauren and she was making those faces and gestures towards me, I would put some distance in between me and her. I absolutely would. First of all, I'm not going to sit there and tell you the truth about what I really believed, which Orion did. He spoke his truth initially and said, this is what I really believe. I'm turned off by your whole story. I'm turned off by the recent engagement because I do think the engagement was recent. I'm turned off by the recent engagement. I'm turned off by the sex just 2 months ago. And I'm going to need a little bit of time. And I'm not for sure I want to have sex right now. That was his truth. That absolutely was his truth. And I know a lot of y'all going to say, oh, well, that wasn't his truth. He was turned off from her from the beginning. I don't think so. I don't think it was from the very beginning, but I think it quickly happened. I do. I don't think it was at the altar. I don't think it was on day one. But I think just like all these men, which I'm going to get to tomorrow, I think they was all turned off real quickly from all these women. Yes, I do believe that. But then once I tell you the truth, and then you start crying, and you start telling me that I offended you, and that I slut shamed you, and I made you feel bad, then what I do is I come back and I say, okay, I'm sorry. And he uses the word if, which we say that's a conditional apology. I don't want it. Girl. You better take what you can get in this moment. And I believe he was trying to apologize. He was trying to apologize not for the way he thought, because we know he thought it. I'm telling you, he thought it. He thought every bit of that. But what he was apologizing for was the fact that she felt bad about it. But he wasn't apologizing for the way he felt. How many times have we apologized? I'm sorry I made you feel that way. But it don't mean it changes my mind. That was Orion. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. But just like Lauren knew, it didn't change his mind. And that's why she was still so upset over it. Because in reality, she knew he didn't like it. But then once I apologize, and then I'm sitting over here lying, trying to make you feel better so you don't cry, but then you call me a liar. Wait a minute. I told you the truth. You got on me for the truth because it hurt your feelings. But then once I apologize, you crying, calling me a liar and telling me to stand on my stuff. So he's lying over here, which he was. He was lying. He was lying up a storm, trying to wiggle out the fact that what he had said to Lauren, he was trying to wiggle out of it. So that's what he did. He did the next best thing. And he said, well, it's not what I really believed. And we all know he believed it. Absolutely, he started lying. He sure did start lying because he had nowhere else to go but to go with the lie. That's where he had to go. And she's talking about, well, stand on your stuff. I can't stand on my stuff. If I stand on my stuff, Lauren, we gonna stay here. If you really want me to stand on my stuff, we gonna stay here. So what I'm gonna give you is I'm gonna give you this lie. I'm gonna give you this lie so we can move on. But she goes, no, stand on your stuff. This is why I tell women, you invite men to lie to you. Women are always talking about men always lying to me. They lie to you because you can't handle the truth. They lie to you because you can't handle the truth. And whether you don't like Orion's truth or not, I'm telling you, whether you don't like it or not, I don't care if you don't like it, by suppressing his truth, now we're here. Now, the way he can get out of this mess, he can't get out of it by lying to you now because you told him, stand on your truth. You done played the little joker. He's trying to get out of it. They're going around and around and around. She's crying. She feels unsafe. Now she's the victim. She's holding all the cards. She's now the victim. He says, how do I get this power back? How do I get this power back in this argument? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to that other argument we had, the race card argument, and I play that big joker. Boom, there it is, Lauren. Now the tables are flipped again, and guess what? Now Lauren's sitting over in the corner crying again because he done played the big joker. Psychological warfare. He over here lying to her, talking about it's not the reason, about the whole sex 2 months ago, but it is part of it. And I don't want to be judgy. He said, let's take it off the table because I didn't want to regret anything. I didn't want to do anything we might regret. Let's build a foundation for this marriage. Lies, lies, lies. We knew he was lying. He's lying because the truth has already been shut down. Once someone shuts you down in your truth, you don't have but two places to go. You either apologize or you start lying about your original truth. And what he chose to do was he chose to start lying about his original truth to get out of the mess that he was in. But the way she was chastising him, the way she was looking at him and talking to him like he was a little boy, punking him. I told y'all, Lauren never had no respect for Orion. You want to talk about whether or not Orion ever even was attracted to Lauren. Lauren never had no respect for Orion. People have been trying to punk Orion since day one. Like I told you, that father and Lauren. Because when you're a hurt person, let's say Lauren's the hurt person, which she is because she feels she was slut shamed. The way that she was talking to Orion showed total lack of respect, total disrespect. That's not just hurt. That was also disrespect. That was some masculine energy saying, I'm going to get up in your face and I'm going to punk you, because that's exactly what she was doing. She told that man, if you're not aware of your flip-flopping, she said, if you're not aware of your flip-flopping, what she say? Then we need to have a quiet meal. She said, I have nothing else to say about it, and I would appreciate just some quietness. Girl, who the hell are you? I would have got up and walked away from that table. I would have said, you want some quietness? You can have all the quietness you want. I'm going to get up from this table. Ain't nobody going to sit in front of me and shush me at no doggone dinner table. If you try to shush me at a dinner table, you think I'm going to sit there and eat my food like you own me and you rule me? No. I'm going to get up and you can have all the quietness you want. But I know there going to be some people who take up for her with that behavior and what she said. They're going to feel like she's totally justified in the way that she handled the situation because she was slut shamed. That's why he had to play the Joker card, because of you people. That's why he had to play it, because he knew it would be people like you who would say all of a sudden that, oh, he's the mean one. That's why he had to play that Joker card. And this is what happens when people you don't allow people to stand on what their real issues are, and you run them underground. And she tells this man, I just want to sit in quiet. I don't even want to talk about it. I need some quietness. Shush your mouth. Disrespect. And like I said, everybody wants to punk Orion. And there was crickets for a minute, but then Orion said, I got a Joker card. I've been here before. You're not going to shush me, because I'm telling you, Orion has been here before. He's been in these moments before. He knows how to fight in these moments. And let me tell you, he got it in him too, because he's also a victim. He loves playing the victim just as much as Lauren does. They both do. And the two of them have met their match. I'm telling you, playing this victim card with Orion, he's done it plenty of times, plenty of years, on plenty of people. Plenty of people. He's probably been in relationships with white women or other non-minority women. And he's played this minority race card, victim card, ancestry card all the time. Just like in this episode, he started talking about, I got an answer to my whole community, all this. It ain't no different from when Lauren was talking about her ancestors 2 episodes ago. Can I punch you for my ancestors? They over here bringing up ancestry and the tribe and all this other stuff. They're professionals. They are professional race card throwers. Well, Orion said, I ain't going to sit up here and listen to this. He said, I got some ammunition in my belt too. I know how to play this game. I know how to fight back. He says, I don't do well in no quiet. I want to talk about it. And Lauren says, I don't have the mental capacity for you. I don't have the mental capacity for this, and I don't want to beat a dead horse over it, because she realized she really wasn't changing his mind. And then he says, well, we need to talk about it. We need to work through it. And then what did she do when she wanted to get out the conversation? I don't want to talk about it because I don't feel safe. Trigger word, call HR. Everybody know if you at work and somebody say, I don't feel safe, you better get out of Dodge. You better turn around and you better walk away. You better retreat. You better retreat because you're about to catch a case on the job with HR. The minute someone says microaggressions, trigger, unsafe, you better turn around. You better walk away. You better exit stage left because they're about to file a case on you. So then he started to try to apologize. He says, well, I'm sorry if I made you feel unsafe. I'm sorry if, and she jumped all over that word if. She said, I don't like it. I don't need no apology. All this assertive energy started coming out. She started telling him, I don't like and I don't need your apology, because what she felt was it wasn't sincere. It wasn't sincere because he really did not want to be with you no more because of what you said. You're right about that, Lauren. It was not sincere. He was apologizing just to try to make you feel better. He was apologizing because he knew he was in the doghouse. He was apologizing because he knew he was on the hot table. And at this point in time, when you done said something you really believe, all you can do is apologize. That's it. That's it. That's where he started. Then after that, he went to the lie. She told that man, I don't need no sorry from you. I know you're more mature than that. Ooh. Ugh. That was a punch to the gut. That was a punch to the gut. And he said, well, shoot, if you're going to punch me that hard, he says, I guess I don't have nothing else to say for now. He a professional fighter. He don't have nothing to say for now. We've been talking this whole season long about how these two talk too much. They both can't shut up. All they do is take a break and then they come back and pick it up. It's been all season long. They talk too much. So even now when Orion's saying, that's fine, I guess I'll be quiet. You know it ain't gonna last. You know it ain't gonna last because he ain't gonna let it end there. It is no way Orion is gonna let this fight end here with Lauren being the victim and he being the aggressive or the assertive one and the one that he's making her feel bad. Ain't no way. All he's going to do is go back and think about how can I come back and be the more of the victim than Lauren. Because that's all they do. Who's the biggest oppressed? Who's the biggest victim? So all Orion did was say, let me take a break. When he off those 2 hours running around taking a break, he's plotting his revenge. He's plotting how can I come back and be a bigger victim than she is, because right now she got me on the ropes with this whole slut shaming thing. She got me on the ropes. How can I come back? And what he did when he was walking around for 2 hours was he decided he was going to come back and he was going to play that race card, the big joker. But before he played it, he was laying in the bed, or they were laying in the bed, and Lauren came in and said, "Ugh, funny meeting you here." I don't know how y'all can be on. I know it's still going to be some 10 toes down for Lauren and nothing for Lauren at all. I'm dishing it out equally. I'm sorry. I'm dishing it out equally. I don't like either one of them because they both do the same exact thing. They both do the same exact thing, and I don't know why you people don't see it. They both do the same exact thing. In the bed, she's trying to get him to change his mind. He's lying to get out. I'm talking about, it's not really the way I feel. I really feel like it's back on the table, this and that. She don't believe it because she know it's a lie. She know it's a lie. She know he lying just to appease her, and she's not going to accept it because she already know the real truth that he don't want her no more. She knows the real truth. She knows the exact real truth, but she don't want him to speak it. So when he lies about it, she mad about that too. She started talking about, I want answers. I want answers. If you didn't believe it, why did you say it? I want answers. I want answers. I want answers. Finally, he said, because it's the truth. Finally, he yells at her and says, because it's the truth. I said it because it's the truth. I can't take this no more. I'm tired of lying to you. I just want to tell you the truth. It turned me off. I don't want to be with you. He said, it's the truth. That's why I said it. And she says, finally, you're telling the truth. He said, I always told the truth. No, you weren't. You were lying. Well, actually, he was trying to tell the truth in the beginning. He told you the truth in the beginning. You didn't like it. Then he tried the apology. You didn't like that. Then he started the lying. And then you got on him for the lying. And now he's back at the truth again. Woo! This is a mess. This is a stone cold mess. Then he says, but you were engaged, weren't you? You were engaged. And she answered her question with a question. Was I engaged before I started this process? Yeah, Lauren, I want to know the answers. And then, of course, the producers edited. I wanted to hear the answer, too. But the fact that she didn't say no and that's a lie means it's the truth. And I don't believe it was an engagement long time ago. I do not believe that. I believe it was a recent engagement. That's what I believe. And I believe they edited it out, and they haven't told us that part of the story with Lauren. They haven't told us that part of the story, that she was engaged recently, and he's coupled that with the fact that she had sex, and that has turned him off and said, you're not taking this seriously. He could be all wrong in his thinking. He could be all wrong. But where the conversation went wrong was when he first spoke his truth about it. That's the conversation they should have had. That's the conversation they had. But you know what happened in that truthful conversation when Orion was really telling her his truth? She played the slut shaming card. And once you play these cards, once you go to HR and you play these cards, once you call the authorities on me, once you call the police on me, we can't even talk about the real issue no more. We can't talk about it. And that's what happened. When Orion was really telling her truth about how he felt and how, he was judging her, they really should have had a conversation. And maybe she could have explained her moment better. But instead, what she did was she went straight to playing the victim, playing her victim card that she was slut shamed, so they never got to deeper explanations. But it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway because he was turned off by it. He was all the way turned off by it. And she was talking about, you can't judge me and say my intentions are not as pure as yours just because I had sex 2 months ago and probably I was married probably less than 6 months ago. She said, you can't judge me over that. Let me tell you something. People have a right on who they're married to. I don't know why. I'm still standing 10 toes down on this. Period. We're not talking about judging someone out on the street. We're talking about you deciding who you want to marry. And let me tell you, whether you think it's judging Lauren or not, a man, and just like a woman does, they have a right to decide whether or not they want to be married to a certain type of person. You guys may not like it. You may not like the decision, but people have a right. Now, maybe he should have just lied from the beginning and never told her his true feelings, but I'm not going to suppress the way of someone's standards for themselves. But here come Lauren going to HR, but it's not fair. It's not fair. Fair, girl, what does fair have to do with it? What does fair have to do with it? She had like she was working HR talking about this is discrimination. This is unfair. He can't judge me that way. Yes, he can. You can't be judged that way at work, Lauren, but you can be judged that way in a relationship. Absolutely you can. And finally, when she kept badgering him, talking about stand on your shit, stop lying. And finally, he belted it out again and said, fine, that's the way I feel. She talking about, well, that's unfair. Another card in the HR office. Fairness. So once she was all up in his face and she was showing all that assertive energy, guess where he went to? He went to his next HR card. Oh, I'm starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. Woo! I tell y'all, it's like we in the HR come. I'm starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm starting to feel some microaggressions coming from you, Lauren. I'm starting to feel a bit attacked. I'm starting to feel like you might attack me and you're triggering me. You're triggering me, Lauren, because you know what you're starting to make me remember? You're starting to make me remember how I had to defend my mother and my sister against an assertive father. And now you're starting to trigger me about those type of aggressive behavior and aggressive tone. Orion went over there and said, I need to call HR, Dr. Cal, Pastor Cal. I need to call HR, Pastor Cal, because I'm starting to feel a bit uncomfortable, uneasy, and he didn't want to say it. He didn't want to say it because he's trying to also say he was feeling a little afraid of Lauren. We all up in this HR office. We got all the buzzwords: unsafe, triggered, uncomfortable. We got them all coming through right now. It's just buzzing all around us. I mean, they must have watched a whole HR video on sexual harassment, racial slurs. Woo, this is a hot mess. It is a hot mess. I wouldn't be married to neither one of these people. Neither one of them. And then they both get all fake when the experts come in. They both get fake. Did y'all notice that when anyone else is around, when the experts come around, both Lauren and Orion get fake in front of the experts? Because really what they're trying to do is they're trying to win the experts over to be on their side. Do y'all get that? Do y'all get that when they both bring in the experts, when they both bring in HR, what they're really doing is they're trying to win their case. They're trying to show that they're the biggest victim. And then they're also trying to act like they're so enlightened and so informed. This was actually the problem I told you I didn't like about them in the beginning. I was saying, I don't understand why Lauren goes into this like she's the educator, like she's the teacher, right? That she's so woke. Remember I had the whole video on fake wokeness? Well, if you notice that when Lauren talks to the experts, she goes back into that mode. Oh, I've been studying about the indigenous people and I've been Googling things. I've been doing this. Girl, what you talking about? What are you talking about? And then Orion does the same thing. He goes in a full apology mode. He starts talking very corporately. They both here putting on a fake act for these experts, for these HR representatives coming in this office, because what they're really trying to do is they're really trying to win their case because they want to be labeled the biggest victim. Who's the biggest victim? The oppression Olympics. Who's the most oppressed? Who's the most offended? They want to win. And here they are sitting in front of each of these experts, Dr. Pia, then Pastor Cal, on who is the biggest victim. Because before Orion played that race card, he was still trying to wiggle out of it. He was sitting there fake in front of Dr. Pia talking about, I failed her in this marriage. I failed her as the husband. He was the one that used that language first. I failed her in the marriage. I failed her as a husband. I feel like I did this wrong. Oh, he was coming off as so apologetic and like he really cared. Orion was sitting up there laughing and putting on an act in front of HR, Dr. Pia. He was sitting there putting on an act. Oh, I'm such a horrible husband. I feel so bad. Let me cry a few tears. He don't care about this woman no more. He don't care about this woman, but he gonna put on an act in front of Dr. Pia. And then next thing you know, Dr. Pia saying, well, you know what? Don't be so hard on yourself, Orion. Don't be so hard on yourself. And now who looks like the big bad wolf? Guess who looks like the big bad wolf now for all the stuff she was saying and how she was all up in her face? Lauren. Now Lauren looks like the big bad wolf because now that we sit in front of HR, Orion is being self-deprecating. He's being hard on himself. So Dr. Pia says, well, you know what? Both of us, we need to bring the temperature down. Both of us, do you forgive him, Lauren? Orion, do you forgive Lauren? Let's just all be one big happy couple. Yeah, I think we're good. All one big act because they are exactly still the same people. Orion don't like her. Orion don't want to be with her. And now Lauren is going to be mad because guess what? She's now in the position of being the assertive and the assertive one now. Now the tables are about to flip again. But he took it back. He said sex is back on the table. So now, I guess what? Now she ready to work on the marriage again? Really, Lauren? You ready to work on the marriage again just because he told you? Just because he sat there and lied to you? That's why I'm telling you. That's why I know that was the biggest issue in the first place. I know, I'm not going to say it was nothing about the judging part, but what it really was for is because he was taking sex off the table, period. Because she was willing to still be with this man because he was saying now in this moment, he was saying, okay, yeah, sex can be back on the table. And she was still willing to work on the marriage. Really, Lauren? You were still willing to work on the marriage after this? Then were you really offended? Were you really that offended? But at this point, Orion's flipping the tables on her. He's starting to flip the tables on her because now, as opposed to him sitting there apologizing, groveling for her forgiveness, the tables are starting to flip. He's starting to play the victim himself. He's starting to play the card with Dr. Pia. He starts to talk about her elevated tone, how he felt uncomfortable, how he was getting triggered. Okay, these are all the new buzzwords out here. He was doing it all. So now Lauren has to go on the defense. She's got to go on the defense because now he's got a claim against her in HR. He's got a claim against her. Dr. P over here talking about the emotional bank account and marriage is like an emotional bank account. Dr. P, this bank account is negative. It's zero. It's overdrawn. It is overdrawn. We're not talking about a low balance. We're not talking about a low balance alert. We're talking about an overdrawn alert, and you ain't linked your bank account to nothing else, so you about to get a bounce check fee. You about to get a bounce check fee, or you about to get a decline on that ATM, on that debit card because this relationship is bankrupt. Not low balance, not low threshold, bankrupt. So now Orion has flipped the table. So now next thing you know, Lauren's apology mode, and now she's starting to admit she can have a fiery personality. We know it, Lauren. We already know that. And she says, you know what, she's been told before that her tone can be a problem and that it can dictate the flow of the conversation. We know it can, Lauren. We already know that. At least I do. And she knows sometimes my jokes don't land all the way in the right place. We know that too, Lauren. Like I said, they've all been here before. This is nothing new to either Orion or Lauren. All the stuff we're talking about with Orion, who he is, I'm telling you, is not new to either Lauren nor Orion. They did not become these people on this show. This is who they are. This is who they are. They both get in hot water. Both of them. Both of them say things and do things to people that people don't like. And then what they do to wiggle out of it, they play the victim card. They both do it. This is their MO. They're too good at it. They do it too fast. They do it too quickly. It's instinct. You can see it. It's what they do. And then when they get in front of this dinner from all their friends, they line in front of their friends too. They line in front of Pastor Cal. They both put an act on in front of other people. That's what I was saying from the beginning of this show. Remember, I kept saying that conversations always seem fake in front of the cameras. I said something's wrong with the conversation of all these couples. It felt so scripted. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel organic. And I'm telling you now, that's the way Orion and Lauren feel. And you can see it when they're in front of other people. They're fake. But when they're by themselves, they go at it like cats and dogs. The real them come out. But when they're in front of each other, they're always trying to sound so enlightened, so informed. And next thing we know, and now we know Lauren's over here Googling the Native American Navajo people. And then they sleep over the night, and then Orion said, you know what, I'm not done. I don't want to be with this woman. He goes off. He thinks for another couple of hours. He really digs in now. He said, I don't want to be with this woman. And so what he decides to do is double down on the race card. That's what he did. He went hard in the paint and doubled down on that race card, and he played it hard because what he knows is this is his big joker. This is big joker. And what he does know is he can't really say the real reason he don't want to be with Orion because he tried that and he got browbeated for it, and it's not going to be accepted out in society. He can't say it. So now what he decides to do is he says, I'm going to play the race card. I'm going to play it hard, and I'm going to say that the reason why I can't be with this woman is because I can't be with a woman who disrespects my culture, my ancestry, my mother, my sister, and after all this is over, I'm going to have to answer to my whole tribe, my whole village, my whole ancestry. I'm going to have to answer to them, and so it's a no-go. They're not even going to make it 8 weeks. I won't be surprised if this divorce is over in the next 2 episodes. They're not going to make it. Every season we have a couple that doesn't make it, even to the decision date. And this is going to be that couple. We thought we had it with the couple who got left at the altar. I don't think Orion and Lauren are going to make it to 8 weeks. And actually, they shouldn't make it. Because what they do on each other, I'm telling you, it's emotional abuse. Both of them. Both. I know everybody going to think that just Lauren is the only one. No, she's not the only victim. She's not. Lauren's done this before. Lauren is real good at playing the victim card too, because when she sat there in front of Claire, and she started crying also with Claire, saying, I tried to hold it together for all you guys, but she gave no detail on the stuff that she was doing. But she was, oh yeah, but I did yell and go off with him and take off my ring. She tried to sprinkle in a little bit. They're both problems. They're both problems. I wouldn't stick with the word of neither one of them. Neither one of them. So I don't want nobody getting down in my comments talking about how can you believe Orion, he's a liar, and you don't believe Lauren. I don't believe neither one of them. I know what I know. I know that they're both liars. I know that they both throw the victim card. I know that they're an HR nightmare. I know that I wouldn't be married to either one of them. Period. I don't like either one of them. Their tactics, nothing. The way they fight, nothing. I don't like nothing about it. At this point, Orion is throwing the kitchen sink at this case. He in the HR office throwing everything out. He's throwing out that he felt violated, racial slurs, harassment, unsafe, microaggressions. She was being aggressive. She done thrown the whole book at him. I mean, the case is long. At this point in time, We already know they're going to cut this marriage, because if they don't, married at first sight, lifetime, they might have a case on them. As many buzzwords as Orion is throwing out. They ask him, you think you can forgive? You think you're forgiven? Forget. Orion's like, no, I can't never forgive none of this. None of it. I want out. I want out. But he wants her to say it. Orion wants a severance package. He wants a severance package. He wants you to settle this case out of court. That's what happens when you throw so much at them. They finally say, let's offer him a settlement package, because if we don't offer him a settlement package, he's going to sue us. If we don't offer him a severance package at this point in time, he's gonna sue us. Pastor Cal over here trying to save this marriage, talking about, can't you give no grace? She's apologizing. He's like, nah. She want me to stand on my shit. She told me earlier she want me to stand on my shit. Well, I'm standing on it. He said, I'm standing on it and I don't want to be with her. He said, you offended me. You violated me. Another buzzword. You violated me. You violated my family. You violated my culture, my ancestors. I got to go back and report to my tribe. You talk about I can speak my truth, but I can't, because you go to 0 to 100. You make me feel uncomfortable. You make me feel scared. You trigger me from the incident with my domestic violence and abuse with my mother and my sister. You trigger me. Girl, Orion, this case about to be a $30 million case. He done use all the buzzwords. This about to be a $30 million case. Like I said, the biggest mistake everybody made in this whole season with Orion is they underestimated him. They really underestimated him. I said from the very beginning, people look at Orion, they look at his physical demeanor, and they think they can punk him. And I told you that I saw it from day one, that people thought that they could punk him. The father, Orion's father, thought that he could punk her. People have thought that they could punk her. And now Cameron tried it on that tour bus. And then who also tried it was Lauren. And what Lauren felt was she's probably been a good fighter out here in the world against normal people. Because normal people would have just retreated on Lauren from the very beginning, the tactics she used. I know many of you don't see her tactics, but I saw them very early on. Because when she asked him what did he think, but then when he said his opinion, I said, that's a setup. That's a setup to ask someone their opinion. So then what you're doing is they either got to lie to you or they tell you their truth and now you're offended. That was a setup. All the time when Lauren would prompt him for questions, did you say the N-word? Did you do that? She was goading him. Because I think Lauren thought she was going to be the bigger fighter. I think Lauren thought she was going to be the stronger of the two, because I think in the past Lauren has been. Lauren has been the biggest victim before. She has been the biggest victim in other situations. She has played the race card because she played it really easily that first time. But what she didn't count on, like everybody else did with Orion, they didn't count on Lauren being that Orion would be a bigger victim than her. Orion won, y'all. He became the bigger victim. In the end, he won. He squashed her. And now she's sitting over in the corner and she's crying. That's exactly what happened. They both were dangerous. They both were cruel. They both play the victim card. They both play the race card. And I wouldn't have nothing to do with them, because if you do, you're going to get a case on you. But I said from the very beginning, Orion was stubborn. He was stubborn. And people think they're going to move him, but they're not. And in the end, when Lauren started getting his face talking about stand on your shit, she didn't even know who she was talking to. She didn't even know who she was talking to. Saying stand on your shit to Orion, please. That's what he does all day, every day, all day long, is stand on his shit. And he was trying to back off of it with you. But now that you calling him on it, he's going to show you how I stand on my shit. And he played that joker, that race card. He sure did. And he became the biggest victim of all. He threw so much stuff at her, so many trigger words, so many HR words. She can't dig out from under it. She's buried. She's toast. It's over. If there's a contest on who's the biggest victim, who's going to win in the court case, I guess they're going to pay out Orion. It's horrendous, y'all. It is real horrendous. But we got some fireworks. I know I talked long. Like I said, this is going to only be the video for Lauren and Orion. I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to talk about the other couples, Because when we talk about psychological warfare, I'm telling you right now, it ain't ending with these two couples. That's the theme of this whole season, psychological warfare, because everybody up in here lying. They all lying. Everybody's lying. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Come back. See you tomorrow. Bye.